Today we are going to have lesson number 6. It's about casting, and we will talk about casting director, talent agent, actors and acting roles, and stages of casting. So, I already got some information that casting is some sphere that is not really maybe paid attention to, or you don't really much know about casting, so we're going to learn a lot of interesting things today. But before we start learning about casting, we need to refresh some information that we already know. And today's quiz is going to be not the usual way. We are going to deal with credits of film, opening credits, closing credits. So because I expect that after finishing the course, you will have no problems to read these credits and to understand which professions we have there, so what these people do, whom to blame, whom to reward, and everything like that. So first we're going to watch some very famous opening credits to one interesting film. I'm going to pause when we see some title, and I'm going to ask you questions. So this is how it's going to work with the first video, and sort of the same way with the second video. Okay? Shall we start? If something goes wrong, if you stop hearing something or seeing, so just tell me. Okay, so I'm starting the video. First question is, what is the production studio? So, which studio produced the film? You see the logo. Universal. Great. So what do you know about Universal Studio? Any historical facts interesting? What is Universal Studio famous for? One of top 5. Yeah, big 5. All right. Mm-hmm. I have a question. So we saw Steven Spielberg presents, but a Robert Zemeckis film. What does it mean? I have Universal Pictures as a production studio. Then I have Steven Spielberg presents, and then I have Robert Zemeckis films. What's going on? Mm-hmm. Spielberg is a producer. We'll find out. Mm-hmm. So Spielberg is involved into production, but Spielberg doesn't really own Universal Pictures. So he is not the director or a sort of producer at Universal Pictures, but well, anyway, but just Steven Spielberg is already in the credits, and we know Steven Spielberg is huge, so he is also a film director. Okay. Starring. So how should we react to starring? What does it mean? So we didn't really touch the actors topic, but that's what we're going to learn today. main role, main artist. But which word do we usually expect to see when it is something about actors? So do you know the special word which means like all the actors that will be in the film? Since we have like, sometimes we can have different that's my question actually. Why do it mentions like starring? Yeah, that's cast. Yeah, that's this word that you usually see usually in closing credits. You have cast and then you have the list of actors in order of appearance, or depending on the main part or secondary supporting part and so on. Starring, it has a little bit the attention that this actor is huge, so it can be like a movie star. But sometimes it also has the meaning that this actor is the leading part, so the leading role, the main actor. Yeah, but it's really the leading part. So we already know, so Michael J. Fox will be the main character. Okay. Pay attention. Pay attention that Christopher Lloyd doesn't have this introduction. Yeah, though he is the actor in supporting role, but he's not already starring. Though, like Christopher Lloyd is quite famous actor, but I mean, for this particular film, so roles are different. Yeah, that's dope. I guess that's iconic film, and we already know it by heart. October. Okay, oops. Yeah, let me just play it again so that you can see. So, casting by. And 3 names. That's our topic today. So I guess it's more or less understandable that casting by it means And we also have the abbreviation. We have a lot of unions in the United States, so like film directors, directors of photography, actors, even casting directors, they are members of different societies, and this is the Casting Society of America, CSA. Yeah, so casting, that's what we're going to learn about. The person who is responsible for finding the right actors, like all of them. So this person is responsible for all the cast, the leading, supporting, extras, doesn't matter, like stunts. So this is, and there are 3 of them. Well, this film needed a lot of actors. On all 1985 model Toyotas, you won't find a better car at a better price with better service anywhere in Hill Valley. That's Chandler Toyota in downtown Hill Valley. But hurry, these prices are only good to the end of the month. So, The Power of Love, performed by... Well, since you know the movie, so probably you already know what The Power of Love is. And so, which information we can get from this one? Yeah, performed by is like played by. The Power of Love is the name of the song. So performed by, it's like who plays this song, so who is the musician, and this is the music band. This is like performed by or played by.
The Senate is expected to vote on this today. In other news, officials at the Pacific Nuclear Research Facility have denied the rumor that a case of missing plutonium was in fact stolen from their vault 2 weeks ago. A Libyan terrorist group had claimed responsibility for the alleged theft. However, officials now attribute the discrepancy to a simple clerical error. The FBI, which is still investigating the matter, has no comment. Four wooden crates filled with cocaine washed
Music by Alan Silvestri. So we had before the name of the song and performed by music group. So if we have the title music by famous musician, he is famous and he is a musician, but to be more clear, he is the music composer. So he's a composer. He composed the music, not just the songs, but all these music pieces for the film. And actually, just remember, Alan Silvestri is like Hans Zimmer, so he's quite famous as well. He composed a lot of soundtracks or just music pieces for lots of films.
ashore near Boca Raton, Florida yesterday. Drug enforcement agents found no
Edited by. So this is our future topics, but I guess you're familiar with the word to edit something, editing. So here you have two people during post-production. Yeah, so actually you see that this is not typical opening credits, because usually in the opening credits you have the title of the film, you have production company, you have producers, film director, and that's it. So that's usually, or sometimes you just have the title of the film and that's it, and then the movie starts. And all the necessary information will be in the end. So here it's just everyone's style. I mean, you can do whatever you want, whatever works for the film. So, and while you're already yeah, it can be different. So of course you can even give more information, you can put even the text on the screen, so giving some historical information, like the prologue, something like that. It can be different. Yeah, and here you're already in the mood. You see, while you're reading the opening credits, if you're reading them, you're focusing on the action. The movie has already started for you. It's the setup of the movie. It's the production design. It's the props of the place where a character lives. So it already gives you subtext of the information that you will get a little bit later, like before you see the characters, but you already anticipate so what you will see. So this is direction. This is how director thinks, how to visualize the script, and how to show it. And this is like just one continuous shot, which is also, from technical point of view, interesting. Production designed by, well, usually it is production design by. So who is the production designer? What he or she is responsible for? Maybe you know another name for this person or synonym, because sometimes we can be confused with, like, production designer didn't really appear at the very beginning of Hollywood film industry. this title appeared a little bit later. It's actually appeared from our favorite and famous film Gone with the Wind. It was the first film which decided to separate. No, I was referring to art director. So usually when we talk about the person who's responsible for set decorations, for costumes, makeup, and sort of like the artistic view of the film, like image of the film. So this is the art director. But then, starting from the film Gone with the Wind, production designer was introduced. And then it became quite confusing, like, shall we write art director in the final credits or opening credits, or production designer? Like in Russian we have only nowadays we have this production designer coming into the language, so we have our title for this one. But in English still there is still a little bit confusion. So is it art direction or is it production design? So, and when we will talk about art direction or production design a little bit later, like in a lesson, so we will find out what's the difference. So why they started to have production designer, and actually Oscar nomination, it sounds like best production design. But before it was like best art direction. Yeah, so that's interesting from a linguistic point of view. Anyway, so here we have production designer, the person responsible for the artistic view of the film. Director of photography, I guess you already know, DP or DOP, so because sometimes they want to stress that it is of photography, but usually it is DP, director of photography. Don't mix it up with direct. So what is director of photography? Director of photography. Just our next lesson will be about director of photography, and we will learn what's the difference between director of photography, cameraman, or sometimes they may call this position like camera operator or something like that. So that's it. For director of photography, it is very important to be director of photography, not the cameraman, because cameraman is a different position.
Hey, Doc? Doc? Hello, anybody home?
That's very interesting information. Okay, I'll just press one more time so that you see.
Einstein, come here, boy.
Executive producers. And we have Steven Spielberg among them. So coming back to the beginning of the film, how should we connect? So is Steven Spielberg a producer, or now he has the credit executive producer? But at the beginning he was like Steven Spielberg presents. So what do you think? He can be both of them. What do you remember about executive producer? Who is this person? So what did Steven Spielberg do on this film? Okay. So it can be a little bit sometimes confusing when you see these big names connecting with film directors and producers themselves, but just don't forget that such big producers as Steven Spielberg or James Cameron or Peter Jackson, they have their own production companies as well. And at some point, Steven Spielberg, together with Mark, what was his name?
What's going on?
Oh,
God,
gee.
you home?
Hold on, because we need to remember
Einstein,
these
come here, boy.
guys. Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy is quite a rich lady in Hollywood now, so they they established their own production company, and they became this sort of like pack of executive producers. So they help to execute the film as well. They can help with the money, but they are mostly oriented to execution of the film, like organization, managing. They can throw in some money. So, and the film was produced together with Universal Pictures. So I guess some interior scenes were shot at Universal Studios. So Steven Spielberg production company helped. But if you go to IMDb, so Steven Spielberg will not be the producer. So Robert Zemeckis and one more person will be the producers. So they found the money, so they got the investment so that to produce the film. And these three people, Steven Spielberg, Marshall, and Kathleen Kennedy, so they helped to produce the film. Yeah. So this is how it worked for Back to the Future. But if, for example, Back to the Future had won Best Oscar, like Best Picture, so then Robert Zemeckis and his like co-producer, actually the second producer, they would have had Oscar for the Best Picture as producers of the film, and also then Robert Zemeckis. I don't remember if he was nominated. I think no, he was not really nominated for Best Direction of the film. Yeah, but anyway, so this is how to find the way between all of these producers.
What's going on? Oh, God. Oh, jeez.
Oh, Bob Gale. Yeah. So written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale. So Bob Gale is the second producer. I mean, like the producer as well. They together wrote the script. They were producers, so they found the money. Yeah, but well, it can be it can be titled like written by. It's okay. Yeah, it's like the original screenplay. So because sometimes you can go with the names of the professions, like the director, the producer, and so on. Or you can go with the verbs, like directed by, produced by, written by, music composed by. So there are these two types of titles that you can go with. You can see the word screenplay. You can see the word script by. There are different synonyms.
Disgusting. What the hell is it?
Now I guess you see that now we have produced by. So these are the main producers, not executive producers. And we have also Bob Gale and Neil Canton. Yeah, one more guy. So these are the producers. Steven Spielberg and two his other friends, so they were executive producers. and directed by Robert Zemeckis. So that's the end of opening credits, and we have entire information about the main people involved in the film. Yeah, and actually I guess now you can see that you can find your way and you can understand already so which people involved and so which work they performed during the film. Do you have any other questions about opening credits? About this film? Because with other films it can be a little bit different. I guess when you rewatch Back to the Future, so you will already, but anyway, so when you start watching other films, especially in English, you will see and pay attention to the credits so that to find some interesting names or just try to find out so who was behind the production department, like from the point of view of producers mostly, so who helped to green light the production of the film. Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to show you, I'm not going to stop the video, I will just run the final credits for some time, and you will try to focus on the main names, and so then I'll ask you some questions. Again, Robert Zemeckis. There was the title of the film, so could you spot what was this film? With Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. I think it was just after the names of the actors, even in the same, with the same title. So Mara, do you have any variants? Maybe you've seen this film. You can see the name of it on the video. And I just paused the video on another section of final credits. It's something that we already discussed about the production department, like unit production manager, and then director's department, first assistant director. So if you actually can compare the opening credits of Back to the Future with the closing credits of Contact, you see that it follows almost the same pattern. Like there is a special order, so we usually start with the production company, producers, film director, actors, script, music, editor, production designer, director of photography, and then we go to the next group of people involved in the film. So just try to so you just see that it's almost the same one. So this structure of opening and closing credits can be the same. Producers, directors, actors, script or screenplay, original one, adapted one, music by composer, director of photography, production designer, editor, and then we stopped at this next group of people. So unit production manager, first assistant director. So if I just start playing, so you will see which other people we have here. And so on and so forth. So, of course, at this level, you can recognize already people from production department, from producers group, from directors department. You can see the names and you can understand what these people did for this film. So, what was their work for this film. And yeah, so usually when you see this huge line of final credits, so just remember the order. It usually producers group comes the first, and then you can have, well, here you can have like art directors, videographic supervisor. Well, VFX is a little bit different area, but anyway, so they're also included somewhere at the beginning. Production accounting, of course, you remember this, and so on. So we will be returning to final credits every time. So when we learn something new about the crew. Yeah. So Marat, how do you feel about being able to read the final credits and knowing more about the crew and the people involved? Have you paid attention before? Or you just didn't really pay attention and never stayed during the final credits at the movie theater? Well, that's actually very important because sometimes if it's some kind of interesting film director or like production company, so they save some interesting, or maybe they can save some deleted scenes or some special scenes with special information until the end. And there are some really films with surprises when you just don't watch the final credits and then somebody tells you like, but did you watch like the final credits up until the end, so that to see the scene that reveals some new information or another twist. Yeah, so, or sometimes like they insert backstage into final credits, or some other probably fun effects or photos, so it can add some atmosphere, especially if it's a comedy. Yeah. So I always try to stay until the end because I'm looking forward to this hidden information in the final credits. Yeah, it can be hidden sometimes for sure. Not all in all of the films. Like I guess 95% of the films don't use it because they know that people just. Well, first of all, because they turn on the lights at the movie theater usually maybe like 1 minute after they started showing the closing credits, and people start leaving the hall. So this is how it's supposed to be. Yeah, list of songs and singers usually they come in the end. Yeah, the end of closing credits. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so watching closing credits for you now is sort of home task, so that to learn more and more about different professions in the film. And today we're focusing on casting. You already spotted this title in the opening credits of Back to the Future, like casting by. And there was one important woman mentioned, Judy Taylor, but we will come back to her a little bit later. So, you feel pressure? Don't worry, there will be no more such difficult questions probably. So enjoy the ride of private lesson. So, casting director, sometimes and maybe even oftentimes referred as CD, but usually CD is referred to compact disc in our world. But anyway, so casting director. So this person is specialized to find the right actors, the right cast for film, for theater, TV show, so it doesn't really matter. So casting directors can be in any entertainment sphere. But so we're interested in film, so we're interested in film casting director. Do you remember when do we usually start working with casting director? What is the traditional stage of film production cycle where we really need this person? And so when this person can be hired, maybe a little bit earlier, so that to give us more information of the actors that we are, for example, interested in and we would like to know. Yeah, pre-production, that's for sure, because during pre-production we need to prepare and find actors. Which stage is before the pre-production? Development. Yeah. So during development stage, casting director can be also hired, can be involved, because, for example, I'm interested in casting Brad Pitt, and I would like to know if Brad Pitt is available for my film. So I call my casting director and already start engaging this person into production of the film at development stage, so that to be ready to hear the information about the actors. What do you mean stretch producers don't gain money yet? Oh, but this is the phase where they try to pitch the project, so that to maybe, well, if for example they can have all the money that they need for the budget of the film, like their own resources or some co-producers or investors who already can give the money without like any pitching, without even like looking at the script, and they just give the money and that's it. That's the end of the story. well, there can be different deals. I mean, casting director can work for some percent, some I don't know, share of profit. I don't know. So it can be different. So I mean, for casting, so you can hire casting director for some amount of money. But this is, I mean, this is one of the key people to have already, especially if this person is competent and professional, because casting director plays, I mean, if we're talking about like Hollywood productions, so casting director plays a huge role in finding and attracting these actors for the film, because cast is like, I don't know, it's maybe 50% of the success of the film. So because if it's miscast, then it's a problem. I mean, you will not feel connected, the audience will not feel connected, or yeah, so you shouldn't really save your money on casting director. Casting director should be like one of the top investments. And casting director can have some assistants. If, for example, casting director is responsible mostly for leading parts actors, supporting actors, casting director doesn't usually deal with extras because it's his or her assistant's work. And for casting director doesn't really work on single project, so he or she can have like different projects. So, and extras is something for like juniors and for interns, so that to train and to get more experience. Yeah. If we start speaking about the history of casting director profession, you will be surprised, but until like 50s, 1950s, so there was no really this casting director profession or like credit, like additional credit in the film, because usually producers and film directors, they found actors and they contracted them, and before actors became freelancers and they became not like connected to one studio, for example, there were actors who worked only for Paramount Pictures, and they couldn't work for Universal Pictures and vice versa. So they had strict contracts with studios, and they could be involved only in films which this film studios produced. So this is how it worked back then. But then actors became quite angry because usually they were typecasted. So typecasted, it means that they had to perform the same roles all the time. Like, I don't know, this is like a typical villain, this is a typical hero, this actress is just, she plays only like the roles of some vamp women, or she plays only secretaries in the film or wives. So, and actors became quite angry because they wanted to use their whole potential and play different roles, but film studios and producers couldn't let them because they were oriented only for making money, and they knew that if audience saw this name on the poster, so they would go and watch this film, usually because of this or that actor or actress. It's a big progress and process who in the end decides who will be in the leading part. Of course, director is like one of these people, but he or she cannot be the last one to make the decision. Usually it's more about producers and production studios, like even executive producers, sponsors. For example, like, you know, these traditional stories when sponsor gives a lot of money and wants his wife to play in these films. So this types of stories. So, and And for example, director knows that it will not really work. This person, for example, is not a professional actor, but this person has some family ties or some personal ties to some sponsors, producers, film studios, and it's not anymore about creative processes. It's just like returning the favor. It's like returning sort of this money favor. Yeah, so you never know what's better, like to get the money and then like repay in a different way, or not to have money at all and not to suffer the whole production process then because you're not happy with the cast. It's difficult. And of course it's difficult when director doesn't have this sort of power so that to make the decisions. So when director is not in the producers group. So that's a problem. Well, that's the question of money. So who has the money? This person rules and runs the floor. Yeah. So coming back to the history, and only in 1950s, so actors found themselves like freelance actors. And so they were not, some of them were still connected to the studios and to some producers and production companies, but most of them became freelancers. So they tried to sell themselves to different studios, to different projects. And at some point, one woman decided to become a casting director. She decided to become this person who knows more or less actors around. She started to gather information about them and build like a database. And then to connect these actors with film directors and producers. So this woman was like the pioneer of casting directors. Her name is Marion Doherty. Yeah, like that. So she was the pioneer. In 1950s, she created then, like a couple years later, her own agency, casting agency, but she was based mostly in New York because back then she was not really happy with Hollywood system of casting, like really typecasting actors. Because she wanted to see the personality in an actor or actress, so that to not just to give the same parts all the time to these people, but to open their potential and to open their possibilities and different ranges of their acting opportunities. So she was like this creative even casting director. And so she casted like different types of actors, and she was the first casting director who opened such actors as Glenn Close, Bette Midler, Al Pacino, John Voight, Dustin Hoffman, and many others. So she was the one to spot these people, even like in the streets, in different theater plays. So because she had to know what kind of actors were engaged at different theater shows, like Broadway shows, and so that to transport them into film industry as well. So because that was sort of usual way for a theater actor then to migrate to TV shows or to film industry. So she was also very intelligent, and she could spot the specific features of people, their personalities, and then try to have this perfect match for this actor and film directors. She also knew like a lot of film directors and producers. And she, even if, for example, producer or film director rejected her offer for this actor or actress, she made them to audition this actor again. And then they agreed, because sometimes they couldn't see the potential at first, but they trusted her. And in a way, she was this casting director whose decision was final. She made film directors, producers, and film studios listen to her. And her decisions, I mean, she was never wrong with her decisions. because she had this talent. She was like a genius casting director. And if you have a look at the names of some films that she casted actors for, like the world, I don't know if you know this film because they mostly come from 50s and 60s, like The World of Henry Orient, Midnight Cowboy, maybe you know, this is one of the main films for Dustin Hoffman. Was like Me, Natalie, Panic in Needle Park, Grease, John Travolta, so she even opened John Travolta to the film industry. Urban Cowboy, The World According to Garp, so that was a huge film as well. And even Batman. So she used to deal with casting for Batman with Jack Nicholson. Yeah, so she was quite a famous lady from the point of view of casting world. So, but she was based mostly in New York until around, I don't remember, maybe 70s or I guess 70s. So she was finally invited by Hollywood to work for she was invited to Hollywood to work for Paramount Pictures first, like to become the head of casting at the studio. So then she went to California. But anyway, so her casting agency then went to her associates, to her assistants as well. So, and it's still running. So this lady, Judy Taylor, casting director for Back to the Future, she is Marion Doherty student, so she was her assistant, and now she's a huge casting director, so one of the most famous, because everyone knows Marion Doherty, and so everyone who went through school of Marion Doherty, so is quite professional. But before Marion Doherty came to California, in California there was budding casting director as well. His name is Lynn Stalmeister. So he decided to become a casting director for Hollywood while Marion Doherty was in New York. So he started to do the same process. Maybe he was not that too careful and too sensitive in finding these personalities in actors, but anyway, so he was quite professional, and so he collaborated with a lot of film directors and producers as well for films such as like Fiddler on the Roof, Harold and Maude, The Cowboys, Rollerball, maybe you know, Superman, yeah, also like from 70s. And it's interesting that well, I guess I need to show you the trailer of the documentary that I would like you to watch, so that to have more information, and so then I'll come back to Lynn Stalmeister. So this is a documentary, a recent documentary about the whole casting and especially Marion Doherty, so that to honor her work for film industry.
She certainly is a remarkable woman, an absolute genius.
Her opinions were spot on.
Marion Doherty, who has pioneered a new path in this area.
Deeply committed, risk-taking.
She is a cornerstone in the film industry.
She was considered sort of the dean of casting directors. Kind of a special character in her own way.
She owned that position of casting. She was it.
Hollywood had no idea what casting was all about.
Marion Doherty raised the stock of casting directors in the film business.
She had a very clear idea about things.
She could see where people couldn't see.
I began to notice Marion Doherty. She introduced so many New York actors to film, all of these great talents.
Everything was shifting in American culture. People wanted something different.
Robert Duvall was not handsome, but he was attractive.
Dusty and I had a place. He had the bottom floor, I had the top floor. I told Marion about him. I said, this guy's got talent, he's gonna be something.
I warned you about this.
The
It's staggering to look down that resume and just go film after film after film that are seminal pieces of American culture.
I will always be indebted to her for a chance to break into another kind of role.
You're humbled by someone who sees something in you before you even see it in yourself.
Marion Dougherty is the reason why I was cast in my first movie.
The fact that I did not get a casting credit is probably the worst thing that's happened to me in my career.
Casting has been severely neglected over the years and tends to be shuffled aside.
The Directors Guild said, you cannot be called casting director because you're not a director.
The reality is you're not a director. You're a casting person, you're casting by.
You cannot separate the work of somebody like Marion Dougherty from what the final outcome of the film is. It's just impossible.
Yeah, so that's quite a very interesting documentary about casting. It's one of the few documentaries that you can find. Probably, I mean, Dustin Hoffman got his part in The Graduate, and film director and the film producer of this film, they didn't want Dustin Hoffman. They rejected this, him as an actor, but Marion Doherty insisted for them to have like the second audition, and she pushed Dustin Hoffman because she felt that he was like the perfect fit. And she made them to make offer. So they finally accepted Dustin Hoffman, but it was only due to Marion Doherty. So, and she actually played many, she was involved in many such situations, so that to have this independent and maybe a little bit insecure actors to find their first big parts in films. Yeah, so highly recommended. And when you watch this film, so you will even learn more about like this work of a casting director, and especially how it happened in Hollywood. So she also mentioned that quite for a very long time, Hollywood rejected casting profession to be titled as casting director, because they had this belief that only film directors and producers choose the actors, and casting director is just some kind of a service who fills in some documents, and it's not really like a creative work at all. But when you watch this film, this documentary, you will see that it's a really difficult job, and you need to have an eye for a perfect actor, because to spot, well, maybe you know like famous actors, but so that to spot this bursting talents, to spot new faces, sometimes of course film director can do it, but film director has so many other things to worry about and to organize the process, that film director should know how to delegate, how to trust other professional people in the crew to do their job, and to delegate to casting director to find perfect actors, and to trust casting director. So this is how it works. And at some point, the whole Hollywood was so, how to say, felt a little bit not happy that Marion Doherty was not recognized, was not awarded. So they decided to make a petition so that to give Marion Doherty, because there is no Oscar for casting, so they asked the Academy Award to give a special, like honorary Oscar to Marion in 1990 something, and Oscar committee rejected. But here, if you look at the slide, so you see that in 2016, Stallmeister received an Academy Honorary Award from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. So, and he is the first casting director to receive an Academy Award. The guy didn't do this huge job that Marion Doherty did. Yeah, Unfortunately, Marion Doherty died in 2011. So, and the guy is still alive and he got the Oscar. You see how everything is not really nice in Hollywood? Yeah, this is how it happens. Anyway, so no more spoilers about documentary. Yeah, but I guess her work and her sort of life and professionalism lives in all the actors that, and huge actors like Al Pacino, come on. So he opened Al Pacino to the world, so she got his first big role in film. So I guess everyone remembers her, and sometimes it's not really about the award, like physical one. It's about the memory in people's hearts, in people's memories. So we're still like walking around film and cinema, and we try to understand. So what's more important, to have these awards, or to have more money, or just to be remembered without these huge box offices and awards and stars on the Walk of Fame? Yeah, okay. We need to know which other people we have besides casting director, and so which people actually, even Marion Doherty had at her first casting office. So, casting office personnel. So we're going from the very minor part in this casting personnel. We have such people as readers. So this is the initial position that you can take when you would like to become, for example, casting director, and or you would like to work at some casting office. So readers are people who read all other characters' opposite lines when actors come to the auditions. So because other actors cannot come to any audition so that to be a partner for this actor, because sometimes the whole cast is not formed and somebody has to read the opposite line so that audition happened. So these people are called readers. They just read the lines. They don't have to be like actors, or they don't have to play. They just read. As they read, for example, any literature or news, it doesn't matter. You do not need to perform. You can be like absolutely indifferent. You just read the lines, and that's it. The next position is interns. So they deal with some documents like mail, copies. So they sign in actors. So they lead these databases of actors, and they keep flow in the casting room, because sometimes in casting room you can have like a lot of actors who came to audition, and you need to organize all of them and just manage them. So this is already the responsibility of interns. Then we have it's casting associate. So this is already like the second chain. So this is the second important person here. And if this person works for 2 years in a row, then he or she can apply for this Casting Society of America. So you saw this Casting Society of America in Back to the Future opening credits, CSA. So this is this membership. This is like a new step in your career, and if you're a member of any society in film industry, so it means that well, you already have experience, first of all, and you can apply for a much bigger salary, for example. Also can run pre-read sessions for casting directors. I mean, it's again some kind of reading sessions, but maybe not with like extras or some like minor actors, but with like leading actors and supporting actors. Can prepare deals memos, like contracts for actors to sign, and so calls agents as well. Agents, I mean talent agents. So this is like the person who represent the actors. So casting director represents film studio or producers and film directors. Talent agent represents actors and actresses. So these are these people on the front line. And casting director, so this person knows all the actors, sets up the discovery of actors. So maybe film director, producers, or film studio don't know these actors, and casting director will be the first one to introduce this new actor or like budding actor. So we don't know. And as for award, like a pity award in a way, casting director receives Artios award. So from Greek, perfectly fitted, Artios. And it happens during this annual meeting of Casting Society of America. But interesting that Emmy Awards for like television, they have casting category. So they give casting award for some casting directors who work for TV. Yeah. Any questions about casting office? Okay, because now we're going to the actual process. So what happens? Casting is usually like we visualize it. So an actor goes to an audition room or to casting room and so reads something from the script in front of usually it's like a film director or producer, but it can be also casting director as well, and even choreographer. So if there is something extra performance is needed, for example, like dancing or some sport activities as well. So yeah, it can be tested as well. So how the process starts. So when a casting director is invited to the project, so that to find perfect actors, casting director reads the script. So there has to be a script. If, for example, it's a development stage and the script is not really ready yet, but we can still have some description of the actors that we can find in a synopsis or treatment. So then casting director prepares so-called casting character breakdown based on this information that he or she can get from film director, producer, or film studio. So what is there in this casting character breakdown? It's the essential information about the actor or actress needed. So it can be like the age, the ethnicity, some specific features, and so on and so forth. So everything that can narrow the search for this perfect actor or actress. And then this character breakdown casting director gives to different acting agencies, talent agents, like managers, so that to, or just post on some special services which are like subscriptions. It can be even IMDb. IMDb also has, I don't know if you know, but IMDb has like a professional database. You pay some amount of money, around like $20 per month, and you have access to all the information. For example, I have IMDb, it is called IMDb Pro. So you can, first of all, you can create IMDb page for yourself. You can post there all the information about your filmography, your photos, your contact information. And if you want to get in touch with any person in film industry, especially in Hollywood, you can go and visit page of this, for example, Brad Pitt, and find information how to contact his talent agent, how to contact, because there will be number, email, and everything like that. So it's a database, $20. Yeah, it's like LinkedIn, but I think it's much cooler because, for example, if I want to offer something to Brad Pitt, I know whom to call. I just need something to offer. So it's, I mean, it's a secure system. It's like top system in Hollywood to use as well. For example, if you need like contact information and you don't know a person who knows this contact information, so you have IMDb Pro where you can get this information for like $20 per month. Yeah. Unfortunately, no, I don't have anything to offer. No. I'm so disappointed and sad that we don't have such a nice database, for example, attached to KinoPoisk, because for us, like, KinoPoisk is our Russian version of IMDb. And it would be so nice if we had such a huge database. Like, you can find not only actors, we have like some databases of actors in Russia, but they're so random and there is no just one database where I just go and find anyone I want. If I need like to find contact information of some producers or film directors, I don't know where to start. Yeah, but I mean, like, I need to think where to start. And with IMDb, I just pay $20 per month and everything is open. I mean, that's fine. That's very easy. Yeah, so contacts are not something hidden. Yeah. I hope that they would do something like this. Oh. Well, I guess guys from KinoPoisk, they know that this system is missing for Russian film industry, and it would be so nice to have this all contacts in one database, so that to make easier for people to connect with each other. And what's so tragic to have all of this contact in one database? Make it like as a subscription as well for like 2,000 rubles per month. Why not? I would pay. I mean, I don't want to think and post like a post on Facebook so that, hi, do you know somebody from this company? Yeah, but it would be nice to have such a database. I mean, I know what I'm talking about. Like, for me, IMDb Pro is just such a great tool, and like film industry uses it because it's nice, it's convenient. Yeah. Okay, too emotional. So we need to know about casting character breakdown. Also, it is called casting notice, but usually if we talk about character breakdown, it's for like huge projects, like feature projects and so on. Casting notice is like a slang version, or maybe it's for like minor projects or even for short films. So there can be two words, character breakdown or casting notice. So what you need to include in this character breakdown: brief summary of a character, age, gender, race or ethnicity, situations involved, some scenes, so what should be expected. And so actors can get casting calls according to the level of acting position. So here we need to pay attention that we already know that we have leading roles, supporting roles, so it means that people will talk a lot and they will have more lines. So just if you don't know, that actors always count how many lines they have in the script. And if, for example, it may happen that supporting actor, if he or she has more lines than the leading actor, but still this leading actor is leading actor. So leading actor could say that he or she needs more lines because leading part is actually characterized with more lines in the script. So who has more lines, then it means this person is leading one. Yeah, because you have then more screen time. The more screen time you have, the more money you earn. So this is how it works. And then it is interesting to know, so other actors, and you can count if you just be more attentive. So then actors can be actors who are called under 5. It means they have fewer than 5 lines of dialogue. Or they can be called a beat part. It means interaction with the principal actor, like with the leading actor or supporting actor, and has no more than under 5 lines. So everything connected to 5 lines. Leading parts, a lot of lines. Supporting parts, fewer lines. And then everything depends on under 5 lines, more or less. Then we have extras, or background actors. They're usually non-speaking parts. So they just do something, but they do not talk. Then we also have such actors as body doubles or stunts. Actually, it can be the whole body or part of the body. So they need to replace the credited actor. So if something has to be done to actor's body, the real one, so then the body double should replace this actor. Another part in which actor can appear, so this is called cameo. Cameo is appearance of a famous person, like real him or her, in a film. Like, for example, Brad Pitt appears as a Brad Pitt. If you know such a film, so you can find. So also it can be, but this part doesn't usually have like another name under 5 for a bit part. It is called cameo. So even if you just go to the closing credits, so you will find cameo, because usually it's a famous person. It can be an actor, or it can be like Donald Trump in Home Alone Part 2. Yeah, so it is a cameo because it's a famous person, everybody knows him, and maybe he doesn't speak, but anyway, so this is the cameo. Also, we need to remember that we have such a word as movie star. So these are quite famous actors or actresses. They can be starring, leading roles in movies like we had with Michael J. Fox, so movie star. So these movie stars are marketable, so it means that they can attract money to the film if their name is on the poster, in credits, yeah, like in promotion materials, trailers. So also if we speak about the trailers, and so how trailers are designed. So there is a special rules of like how many seconds of leading actors should appear in a trailer. So because then also like actors get some percentage, or because it's promotion. And if we go back to like old Hollywood, there was such a phrase or such name of parts for actors like matinee idol. This term was usually used to describe some male actors, and they were like, again, like movie stars, but they were called matinee idols because their films were shown usually during the afternoon time, and from French, matinee means afternoon. Yeah, so, but for example, Rodolfo Valentino was matinee idol. Maybe his films were shown in afternoon time as well, or in the evening time as well, but still, he's like the typical matinee idol. Jean Marais, yeah, probably. Yeah, so these are the parts that actors can be casted for. So we have casting character breakdown. This is usually how it can look like. This is usually like an advertisement that is placed on special subscription services for talent agents or talent agencies. Here you can see some information about the production company, some address, like executive producers, writers, directors, so like the information about the project. And then you have the description of a character. For example, we have Rex Matheson, so Caucasian, late 20s, CIA agent, a fast-tracked high flyer. And he knows it, Rex is fast, sharp, smart, diva, and so on and so forth. So that's the description of the character. And as soon as this post is posted on special services, so talent agencies or talent agents have the access to this information, they read it and they start thinking, so which actors to offer. Yeah. So, but this is the initial document that a casting director should prepare and submit to different services so that to start searching for actors. We can have another scenario. For example, script is already being written for some particular character, for some particular actor, or for example, even before having casting director, like I personally know some famous actor, or maybe not really some famous actor, but I don't need like a casting director to pass the information to this person, because for example, I know this actor personally, or I know talent agent of this actor personally, so I can, as a film director, together with producer, because like casting, film director cannot act like himself or herself individually. Casting is always about film director, producer, and if we have already casting director and casting director, these three people should like should act openly and should act together. So if, for example, I want to cast Brad Pitt, so I call Brad Pitt or I call his talent agent and so send him, so then another process starts. So let's have a look at the process. The first initial part is called attachment phase. When some copies of script, of current script, or maybe it can be like synopsis or treatment, is sent to the agent or actor, so it doesn't really matter. And it should be covered with coverage. Coverage is one-page script synopsis with brief set of characters, so that like to have a brief idea. Then also such document as avail check, it means available check, is prepared as well. This is list of dream cast. So dream cast is my dream cast of actors whom I would love to attract to my project. It has to be approved by director, producers, and studio. And plus, so casting director casting director can throw in some ideas as well, but it depends on the project. So then offer is sent. So this is a letter to the actor's representative to explain the role, together with the script and why this actor was selected, if already known time commitment, approximate start date, filming location, salary offering. So I don't. So this is the attachment phase still. So I send the script and I send the offer. Like, I would like you to be my film. My film is about something and something. So the time commitment will be like these dates, and so on and so forth. At this stage, so the actor, after reading the script, after considering the offer, can pass or can accept the offer. So if the actor or actress accepts the offer, then negotiations start. So here actually, I mean, there can be auditions. I mean, for example, actor or actress read the script, and film director then or producers, they invite them just for a chat, or they would like them really like to audition. But I mean, when you already offer a part, you are confident that this actor will be perfect for this role, so there is no need for auditions then. If there is sort of like this partial offer when you offer, but you still want to meet, you want to audition, you want this actor to read something, or maybe just to talk with you, then it can be done this way as well too. But anyway, so if we go in just this traditional way, when we don't need some auditions for great actors, or when we're like really confident, then negotiations start with lawyers, so they draw up the contract. They negotiate the salary, they negotiate the time commitment, and they put all this information in the contract. If, for example, days of filming are not known, then they draw up the letter of intent. And so when they know about the filming dates, so then they have like the real offer, the real contract. And then we just remember, so what happens with casting director and casting auditions at casting office. The auditions for remaining roles start, they are called pre-screens. Pre-screens are usually for casting director only, when only casting director meets with prospective actors. If these actors are really prospective, then they have director's session, when actors come back to perform in front of the director. And then after this director's session, they can have callback or producer session. So, and then attachment phase for them starts, like for this great A-list actors who don't really need this whole stage of pre-screens, director sessions, and so on. So extra actors, extras, they don't have this because they're non-speaking parts. They don't go through like directors and producer sessions, so usually casting director can make like the final decision. He or she can show just some materials from this actor, and these extras can be offered, they can be approved. Yeah. So this is what happens with this stage. So which materials casting director needs so that to even be interested in this or that actor? It can be photographs or actors' headshots from different angles. And if the first impression is okay, so then casting director proceeds with some auditions. Or casting director can watch actors' show or demo reel, which is more popular nowadays, not only photographs, because during this show reel, so you can actually hear how actor speaks and so how he or she behaves, so you can already see much more. You can sometimes even already cast some like extra actors just only watching show reels without like inviting them to casting room and like speak with them personally. And they can also look through actors' resumes just to see the previous credits, background, education, and so on. So that's all that you need. As a casting director, that's all what you need as an actor to present and to be considered for some parts. And while you're going through this information, I'm going to show you some headshots of famous actors when they were not famous at all. So I guess I tried to find the most famous actors. I hope that you recognize them. So you can see the photo before this actor or actress became famous and sort of photos nowadays. So I guess you can see how young these actors were and how probably a little bit naive and not really confident they were at the beginning of their careers. Do you have any favorite actors from this one? I have 4 of them. And you can already start typing who's your favorite actor. Oh, Scarlett Scarlett Johansson, she started acting very early as well. Yeah, but DiCaprio, I guess, was born as an actor. He didn't even go to kindergarten. Or even if he went, then it was like acting kindergarten. Brad Pitt was, I guess, a teenager already when he started his acting career. Leonardo DiCaprio was like quite young, maybe even preschool. You don't like DiCaprio? Oh no. Well, but anyway, so this how actually headshots can look like. So they can be, well, here most of them, well, not most, like half and half, black and white. But it's just about the expression of the face. So these headshots can be also in different genres. So when actors smile, when they're serious, so they need to express different emotions. So like headshots can be different. But even, especially nowadays, actors try not really to focus on headshots. They try to have great like portfolios, demo reels, because they call it they call it like show reel when they say something on the camera and they try to maybe act something. So it can be different. Well, he's good there, yeah. Well, I mean, for me, DiCaprio is one of the greatest actors because he can play anything. He can be like a gentleman, a lover. He can be some action guy. He can play some villains as well. I really love him in Tarantino film. I mean, for me, he can be anybody. So therefore, and especially if thinking about like the beginning of his career, what's eating Gilbert Grape, like his really first, Shutter. Oh, I mean, like I'm more interested in his like dramatic roles, because with some, what was this Scorsese's first film? Bands of New York or something like that. It was in English. Like dramatic roles, some deep roles when you can investigate some drama, some psychological dilemmas, something like that. Yeah, so I mean, Titanic is good, but I think Leonardo DiCaprio was not really nominated for like best leading role for Titanic. I'm not sure, because Titanic won like 11 Oscars, but yeah, I mean, Great Gatsby, it's another level. So if in Titanic Leonardo DiCaprio was like a teenager, in Great Gatsby he's a real man, so that's much more interesting. Yeah, Django Unchained. Yeah, but like his first part, when he's around like 16 or 17, I think the title of the film is What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He plays with Robert De Niro in this film, and he's like a teenager. He's 16 or 17, and he plays this boy with some disabilities, and he's so natural there. I think it's like early 90s, probably, this film, or late 80s. Yeah, so. So, we've already talked. Yeah, don't mention Santa Barbara. He needed money. Let's call this stage He Needed Money. So, a person who represents actors is talent agent or booking agent. It's usually good if actor or actress has this person, because actors cannot deal with all the calls or incoming emails, so they to consider everything and to be to know everything, what's happening, which projects are being running. So you cannot know all this information. You need a special person to delegate this job to a person who knows much better and who can operate much better than you do. So talent agent can represent not only actors but also authors, journalists, film directors as well, musicians, models, sportsmen, and so on and so forth. We are of course interested in film. So talent agent of course tries to promote his or her actors and find best job opportunities for them. When in many cases, so casting directors or other businesses, they go and connect first of all to talent agents. Because it's like the first person to connect to, so that to know what's there in the pool. And the agent is paid a percentage of the star's earning, so therefore talent agent is motivated so that to find, on the one hand, at least to find something for an actor or an actress, and to find like a huge perspective role, very well paid role. They usually get 10%, and that's sometimes they are called 10 percenters. So that's, sometimes they can earn more, but I think like the top that they can get in terms of percentage is like 20%. So 10% is like the usual rate that they have. So of course all the famous actors, they have talent agencies. Talent agencies or talent agents who represent them. I think maybe only Bill Murray doesn't have a talent agent. I don't know. Do you know Bill Murray? The guy from Ghostbusters? Okay, so he's a very funny guy. And first of all, he doesn't have a mobile phone. So he told the story, and everybody tells the story because it's really difficult to contact Bill Murray. So he doesn't have a mobile phone. He has just like a regular phone. And he doesn't have like a talent agent or agency. So if, for example, I want Bill Murray for my film, so I need either to find how to meet him, like to find people who know him or something like that, or I need to call him home and leave a message. And usually Bill Murray doesn't really pick up the phone, so he usually like listens to his like messages, voice messages left. And if he likes the voice message, then he can call back. So you can imagine how difficult this process is. But if you have like a call back from Bill Murray, so usually so he is at least interested, so he can listen to you. But everything can really go wrong at any stage. So he's not a typical actor, but well, it doesn't really spoil his career. Yeah, that's Bill Murray. We also need to remember about the Special Actors Union. It is called SAG-AFTRA, but first of all, it was called SAG. So it is the labor union representing almost 160,000 film and television actors, journalists, singers, so different types of people. So SAG-AFTRA was formed in 2012, but it was a merger of Screen Actors Guild, so SAG, it was the first one, and then the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, created in 1937. So they merged finally in 2012, and they became one organization. It's interesting that if, for example, each union, besides Oscars, besides Golden Globe and Emmy Awards, these unions like Writers Guild, Film Directors Guild, Director of Photography's Guild, Actors Guild, they have their own awards every year, and it's really a great ceremony as well. So because actors, they like get together, they have their own red carpet, and so they try to award and honor the best actors during like this year or like the previous year. So it depends. So when this ceremonies take place. So it feels like Oscar. I'll show you this year SAG-AFTRA ceremony, and the guy who won the supporting role.
It goes to Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
This is Brad Pitt's second win and 9th nomination. He previously received an actor with the cast of Inglourious Basterds. He is also nominated tonight with the cast of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I gotta add this to my Tinder profile. Thank you, my brothers, my sisters. This means so much, more than I can possibly fathom. I want you to know I watch everything. I watch you all, and the work has been mesmerizing, so I thank you. I want to thank my co-stars, Leo, Margot Robbie's feet, Margaret Qualley's feet, Dakota Fanning's feet. Seriously, Quentin has separated more women from their shoes than the TSA. Now, we all know what we do is a team sport, and we elevate each other. And I got to work with some amazing, amazing people. Mr. Pacino, Mr. Dern, Kurt Russell, Leo, Dakota, Tim. Wait, where are you guys? Miss Butters, a bunch of the new generation, Margaret Qualley, Austin Butler. Anyway, you all elevated my game. I certainly hope I did the same for you. Let's be honest, it was a difficult part. A guy who gets high, takes his shirt off, and doesn't get on with his wife. It's a big stretch.
Well, it was also nominated as one of the most hilarious speech. Well, Brad Pitt cannot be serious anymore. So he mentioned like his Tinder profile that he needs to update, and then that in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he had some really dramatic role, like getting high and taking off his shirt and not really getting well with his wife. So that's basically what he does in his real life. Yeah, it's more relaxed atmosphere, of course. So if you want, you can watch it. It's the same ceremony that you can find on YouTube and enjoy it, and it's really funny. I mean, it's much funnier than Oscar, especially among actors. Yeah. So as for Best Actor, so no surprise, the same as Oscar. You almost usually like SAG-AFTRA reflects what Oscar gives, and they do the same, usually. Yeah. Okay. And if speaking about actors, so it's about salary and money. We also have highest grossing actors as well. So we have like different information here, different categories. How can we consider actors being rich? So, have you ever thought about the richest actors and actresses? Mainly it's actors. So, do you know any names of the richest actors? Of all, not really of all time, but, well, sort of actors who started to earn a lot of money. We need to remember about the Avengers. So, no surprise. Live action roles. So, list does not include cameos and voice acting. Yeah, actually, Samuel L. Jackson is the richest actor in the world. If like combine everything, but here, I mean, if you see at the table, so you see it's all about either Avengers Endgame, and we know why, it's the highest grossing film, it earned a lot of money, and Star Wars. So all the actors who played in this film, so they actually got the jackpot. Robert Jr., yeah, well, Scarlett Johansson, she became like the highest grossing actress. Then we have, well, Paul Bettany as well, Zoe Salander, Jeremy Renner, Gwyneth Paltrow as well. So this is the top 10 actors who are the richest actors. If we take a look at actors who ever got like the highest salary paid for a single production, for like a single film. But anyway, so that here you can see, for example, that Keanu Reeves earned $30 million for Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. That's a surprise. I mean, I didn't know about it. I know that he actually earned like a lot of money for Matrix, but I didn't know that he earned so much. Then we have Bruce Willis for The Sixth Sense, $14 million. We have Tom Cruise. We have Will Smith. Avengers, of course, so cannot say goodbye to Robert Downey Jr. And we also have Sandra Bullock for Gravity, so she earned $20 million for a single project. So to be an actor is quite quite perspective. If we have a look at the previous generation and see how much money actors earned back then, so then the sort of top highest grossing actors would be John Wayne. So he earned around 113 millions, but for one film, How the West Was Won. So these are actors, maybe some of them you know, some of them you don't really know. You probably know Gregory Peck, well, Frank Sinatra, not only a singer but a film star as well. Elizabeth Taylor, James Stewart, Clark Gable also. Here you can see that these are actors like from different times, but anyway, so they're considered to be from 20th century, and especially like 40s, 50s, 60s. So top actors from the previous era. We also have table for highest paid actors for each year, and for previous year it's Dwayne Johnson. So he earned almost $90 million. Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr., Akshay Kumar, Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan is something producing something. Bradley Cooper, Adam Sandler, Scarlett Johansson. Well, he produces a lot of films, I guess. Yeah, so you can see it's maybe something that you not really expect. So even maybe some of the names you even don't know, or even you don't watch the films, but these people are quite rich. And of course, I guess maybe you don't really know all the names of highest paid actors. Oh, I just took like first 10, so maybe somewhere after 10. Yeah, but Matthew McConaughey, I think, is also quite very well paid actor. So if not speaking about the money, but speaking about other awards, if speaking about the Oscar, so who got the most Oscar nominations or Oscar awards? So what do you think? Who is the most famous Oscar award actor and actress? Maybe they're not the richest people, but we know their names at least, and I guess we know almost all of their films they played, and especially the films they got Oscar for. No, it's not Brad Pitt. Well, Brad Pitt is a very popular actor, but I guess in terms of Oscar, we need to consider some a little bit older school of actors. So some people dating a little bit back to 80s, somewhere there, maybe even 70s. So these actors, they like mature actors already, and they of course had like a number of Oscar nominations, and they got not only one award. Meryl Streep. That lady is for sure. So she's not the top, because she got only 3 Oscar. One, the first place belongs to Katharine Hepburn. So I don't know if you know her, but she played in Morning Glory, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, The Lion in Winter, on Golden Pond. On Golden Pond, she is quite already mature lady. Yeah, Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson. So the most awarded actors and who are still alive, because we don't have Katharine Hepburn anymore, we don't have Ingrid Bergman as well, but we do have Daniel Day-Lewis. So he got 3 Oscars. Well, still, Meryl Streep holds the record. She has 21 Oscar nominations. So it means, I guess, she's really a great actress. And also when we talk about like great actors, Jack Nicholson, because he has a variety of different roles. Yeah. So here, despite the money rating, we have more to talk about. So maybe filmmaking is not really about making the big budget, it's more about something else. As promised, I still recommend you to watch this great documentary, Casting By, about Maureen Doherty and the whole casting system in Hollywood. You can find it and in Russian on YouTube, or you can find it on different subscriptions, and probably like Amazon if you want to watch it in English, but in Russian, so you can find it in Russian on YouTube. I don't know why, but on YouTube in Russian you can watch it for free. And it will be my only recommendation so far about the casting, not so much, so that you will be able to cover it, and it's only like 1 hour and 1 hour and a half. So our private lesson is completed. We officially crossed the line, the middle point of our entire course. Since next time we are going to learn about cinematography, director of photography, camera department, light department, grip department, and some essential terms and vocabulary. So congratulations, Marat, your online hero. So, do you have any questions to me about casting or about some other information? Because next time I guess it will be more and interesting and more known area of cinematography, since it's more predictable. Well, I guess after my course you will be a professional. Your theoretical knowledge will be considered as professional as well. Yeah. Okay. So then I guess I will see you next time. Hopefully other students will join us, because it will not be Monday. Monday is a difficult day to start the week. And so enjoy your evening, and I hope that you will find time to watch the documentary about the casting. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye then. And see you on Thursday.